Hi, my name's Heather Eskett, and I'm a member and also the recorder of the Borderline Ridge Riders Club out of Derby, Vermont. Here to discuss with you a very important opportunity that we have. It is a community trail expansion project. The reason this is so important is because there's very little public property that is available for off-highway use for most of us that have either side-by-side or ATVs. If you note on page 2, our agenda covers the need for this trail expansion, also the project description, and the budget. We will discuss also how we're going to fund that budget, which is very important. After that, we will have a conclusion and go over some questions because I'm sure everybody is going to have questions about this process. So, first, to address the need, there's currently 21 voluntary funded Vasa clubs. However, this sport is growing continuously and gaining in popularity. So we're finding an increased need to expand the trail system to meet that need and avoid some congestion. According to the Vermont Statewide Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, SCORP for short, that was generated for the 2004 to 2018 period, the Vermont All-Terrain Vehicle Sportsmen's Association, also known as Vasa, membership had almost doubled since 2003, increasing to 2,564 members in 2010. Now granted, that was quite a while ago still, so I'm sure that's probably at least doubled again. They just don't have a current report out for me to reflect at this time. They did note also that ATV riding has the third highest average annual household participation days of any activity. As we know, Vermonters love being outdoors, and this is a very, very popular sport. Another need is basically just expansion of the Vasa Trail system. Reason being, currently there's only about 1,200 miles of combined trails. Unfortunately, most of them don't connect. That's a big problem. That's a huge problem because it's not legal to drive on most improved roads. So when you're going into a town, it's really difficult to navigate to get to the next trail. Newport is one of the rare areas that has granted quite a bit of access, and you can actually drive right through the middle of town. It's really nice to be able to just stop and get something to eat, get your gas, but not too many other places have followed through with that. The other need is to get collaboration from private property owners. We're now on slide 5. According to Vermont State Agency of Natural Resources, more than 79% of Vermont's forested land is owned by individuals or families. We must present a good argument for how granting OHV access through private property can be mutually beneficial for the property owner and for us as riders. The ramifications of this program or project that we're taking on is a reduction in property tax for the landowner. It also creates an economic boost for the community because you have a lot more traffic through there, a lot more money flowing. It's going to improve the quality of life for the people of that area as well. I've included some information that I found from the Outdoor Industry Association, which states that approximately 72% of Vermont residents participate in outdoor recreation each year. That generates, in addition with our other states' visitors, creates about a $5.5 billion revenue. It also creates about $1.5 billion in wages and salaries for the state. It also provides 51,000 jobs. So this is an overview of all of the outdoor industries, not just the off-highway or the snowmobile or skiing types of activities. This encompasses all of them. Our project description. What we're going to do is introduce the landowners to the benefits of the use value appraisal program for the state of Vermont. What this program does is provides landowners resources in the form of literature and in-person program representatives to answer any questions they may have. So we're going to have a little event and invite as many people as we can. It's going to be mostly word of mouth, but we're going to do the best we can to get as many big property landowners involved and hopefully recruit them and educate them that they may qualify for a reduction in their property tax rate. And basically it's for conservation on their property. That's the benefit. We're also going to describe to them how we're going to offer basic safeguards to deter improper use or damage of private property. And we want to do this without creating any additional expense for the property owner. This includes proper markings for trails, may include some sort of delineation like a colored rope or signage, or possibly fencing. This way the property owner won't have to worry about anybody going off trail and doing donuts or camping and leaving their garbage on their property. The use value appraisal. So we're on slide 8 right now. The Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreations states that Vermont's use value appraisal program, also called current use or land use, enables landowners who practice long-term forest management to have their enrolled land appraised for property taxes based on its value for the forestry rather than fair market development value. When the land's enrolled in the UVA program, the state attaches a lien to the deed. Productive forest land appraised under this program receives this assessment as long as it is actively managed, unless the landowner decides to withdraw the land from the program. The legislature would then end the program, or the parcel is discontinued by the Division of Property Valuation and Review. If it's enrolled in forest land and is developed or harvested improperly, a land use change tax is levied on the developed portion, and all or a portion of the enrolled land is discontinued from the UVA. Initial meetings that we are going to hold will include printed literature and application forms from the Vermont Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreations. We've been granted several resources from the state in order to try and assist us in pushing this along. One of the Vermont State Foresters will also be on site for an extensive question and answer session with these landowners. They've promised us that they won't cut out early and that they'll actually stick around and try and answer all questions and maybe acquire some follow-up information so that they can contact these landowners afterwards and follow up and see if they're interested in pursuing the program. The follow-up will be initiated by the forester afterwards for any landowner that's interested in learning more about it, or possibly having the forester come out and take a look at their property and give them an opinion on what they think. We will also hold an appreciation dinner that will be catered for all the participants. That is the landowners, the club members, the visiting club members, and our foresters. Safeguarding and trail marking. This is slide 10. Our club presidents will be present to discuss trail marking methods, types of signage, and the safeguards that we're going to employ to ensure that riders are encouraged to stay within the designated boundaries set by the property owner. The property owners will be informed that the trail improvements will be at the local club's expense, and work will be provided by voluntary club members. We will bring examples of signage, boundary markers, and cautionary signs also will be available for landowners to inspect so they can tell what's going to be going up on their property and make sure that they are comfortable with that. Property owner and club members will discuss the owner's preferences for trail markings and fencing and all of that good stuff that we're going to have to put up to delineate what is for use by us and what is not. The next subject is going to be the budget. We've all agreed, all of the presidents have agreed that the expenses for these meetings will not exceed $500 per event. And these funds are to be used to cover catering expenses. They will be paid by the local club hosting the event. We've designated a few of the larger clubs to host the events just because the word of mouth is going to be a little greater. We invite everybody to come. You don't need to attend from you're in a location that's close to your area. You can come to all of them or part of them. We welcome everybody. Voluntary donations from the smaller clubs to help offset the expenses also greatly appreciated. As far as literature goes, so the literature and the forester representatives are provided by the state of Vermont free of charge. So we don't have to worry about paying for our handouts or paying for the forester's time to be there. We have decided, if we're taking on this project, we are going to increase the annual club dues by $25 per person. This would be effective immediately, and it will help compensate for the increase in the expenses for new trail signage and maintenance. My conclusion for this program is that this will obviously increase our trail availability. It will improve our expansion rate. It will also reduce property taxes for the property owners, which is the biggest incentive in this whole program. It will also encourage local economic growth. It's going to bring more people into town. It's going to bring more traffic. They're going to be getting gas. They may be camping locally. They're buying food. It's just going to make a big difference. You can see how this has happened, especially in New Hampshire. They hold a local annual event with several off-highway vehicles, and you can't even rent a spot of ground to put a tent on that weekend. So it's definitely beneficial for economic growth. It's also going to increase state revenue. That is because we are going to have lots of out-of-staters coming. And those out-of-staters have to pay for basically a 1 day or week or annual, however they're going to do it, however many times they're going to come. They have to pay for their sticker and their registration to use our lands. So that's going to be a benefit to us also, because those funds should go back into the Vasa program or the VAST program. It's also going to increase our club membership growth by word of mouth. I think we're going to end up with a lot of these homeowners that are also becoming club members. It's going to help bring the community together, and bottom line, it's going to grow our club membership. One thing that I would like to address at one of our future meetings is possibly these landowners that have granted us access to their properties, that maybe they should be honorary members and not have to pay an annual membership fee. The last but not least, definitely, is resource conservation. This is going to promote conservation of all of our natural resources: trees, water, animals, everything. It's being managed by the state and by professional foresters who know what needs to be done to keep our ecosystem and environment in tip-top shape, and that's all they do. That's their job. So that is something that is definitely going to improve things for Vermont. Slide 13 is just a list of my references. A lot of these are just jam-packed with information. So it's a great resource if you want to go back and take a look at anything that was discussed here, because this is kind of a short review. You're welcome to go to any of these sites. Most of them link to each other, so you should be able to find anything that you have questions on. There's also a list of the foresters' phone numbers by county in the Vermont State Agency of Natural Resources reference. Any questions? We will go to our in-person experts for questions and answers at this time.